Our next opening remark is from Filip Medic. Filip is the Deputy Director for Transatlantic Leadership Programs at the German Marshall Fund of the USA. It's actually, the GMF is actually the organization which initiated this summit and which is also one of the main sponsors of this event and which has brought so many international experts from a variety of countries across the globe to discuss veteran issues in Ukraine and also to bring Ukraine to the table of the international dialogue on veteran issues. So thank you, GMF, and Filip, the floor is all yours.
Hello, everybody. So I'm just going to briefly introduce GMF to you guys so you know who we are. The German Marshall Fund of the United States is an American NGO. Our mission is to strengthen transatlantic relations in the spirit of the Marshall Plan. And this part, the spirit of the Marshall Plan, is key because we want to sustain the values that have put forward transatlantic collaboration after the Second World War. And whereas the Marshall Plan focused on rebuilding the physical infrastructure in Europe after 5 or 6 years of devastation, we actually invest our resources in building the people's infrastructure. Because our mission is to create a network that can define a new agenda for transatlantic relations for the 21st century and form new forms of collaboration. So leadership programs on which I work select leaders on both sides of the Atlantic and enable them to participate in transatlantic relations, build networks, and identify those shared challenges around which work is possible. Our alumni are 3,000 strong, and as of a few years ago, they are also coming from Ukraine. So every year now we select fellows in 4 countries in this region, Moldova, Ukraine, Georgia, and Armenia. And we put them through our programs, and then they become a part of this smart power resource that our countries have. So this whole initiative came about from this engagement among alumni. Igor Goncharenko, who is here with us, traveled on one of our programs. And during his visit in Houston, he met John Borstler from Next Up and shared that Ukraine is precisely struggling or going to struggle with this challenge of having 200 fighters return from the front and needing the assistance that they need to transition to their civic lives. So John came to Ukraine and thanks to Igor was connected to Lesia, Vasylenko, and from there a mini study tour came about, and then gradually, step by step, we have this event before us today. And I cannot share more, but there are some very exciting projects coming about so as to facilitate the exchange of strategies and best practices around veteran affairs. Just to end on one note, we've seen in many countries that have been going a transition to democracy that veterans actually end up playing a huge civic role. They're the first to mobilize, they're focused on action, and as they integrate after the war back into their communities, they actually become tremendous agents of change. This is the reason why the German Marshall Fund full-heartedly supports this project and full-heartedly supports all the alliance that is building around this project, especially also from the parties in the parliament and all the political actors who also want to help this community perform its civic duty after they've performed their combat duty in defending the country. So thank you very much.